hear the dog? Of course, you hear the helicopter. The helicopter and the other things are man-made background noises. We're used to those. So when you're easing along, easing, old southern term for some people call stalking. You go quiet, you go slow. You look for movement. You only take 4 or 5 steps at a time, and you stop, and you look, you listen, not just for what's here. That dog over there, he's barking at something. Helicopter coming that way. But what's he barking at? Is that a happy, let's go play, yip? Or is that a hunting animal? Like a hunting dog barking at something he can see or smell. Along the edge of this pine forest, as you can hear, you can be very quiet. Rooting signs right here. You can tell where something, probably a hog, is sat here. I want you to look at something. See that well-gnawed pine cone right there? There's another one right there. Fox squirrel. Tree. Right there, probably a good one to sit under, look for. Several of them right here have been cleaned of everything last fall. And whenever the pine cones was green, had seeds. Mark that down. You see this roadway right here? Don't be in a hurry to step out. Come out and slowly in degrees. Not out in this open like I am now. On that tree line. Look. You might surprise something. Or something might surprise you. Stalking was a game we boys played as children. It was how to sneak up on somebody and not be heard. One person would be tagged as it, and they'd be blindfolded. Usually sat on a chair or a porch step, stump, something. And the other members would see how close they could get. The ultimate prize would be a bandana or some other prize. I remember when it was a Hershey's Kiss, sat between the feet of someone. Could you sneak up, not be heard, and get it and get away? That was the game. See how still the air is? We've had that bitter cold. Now it's going to rain again. I'm on the bottom edge of that intense cold that's out in Texas, and we're just getting waves of storms. And hunting season for deer is over. Hog is still in though. These are some of my favorite times to come out and walk around and explore. Dead quiet. You move quiet, you listen, you'll find something moving out here. Maybe not the thing you was hoping to find, but I want you to look at this. See how that tree right there is down? And all that green right in there. Be a good place to make a little stand. Sit down there. It'll break up your silhouette. And that's the number one thing. Movement, noise, scent can all give you away. You want to come to a stop and just freeze for a moment. Slowly turn your head. Ears like radar dishes and help you focus sound. And if I hear a sound over here, turn face it and then kind of angle your head a little. It helps you locate it to figure out it's right there. More like we were talking in finding true west. You know, your ears can help you focus in the sound. It's right there, not in that zone, but there. Helps you zone in. Find out where it's at. No real game trails right here, but there are trails. What I'm looking for. Now look at this. See if you can catch what this is. Hard to see. Bare dirt, leaves. But you notice how there's like a swirl pattern to that? That's where a hog is laid down. See the dirt? Right there and there and there. I know it's hard to see on film, but this is where a hog has come up and rooted around, probably 2 or 3 of them right here. And that has got to be a mental note. Scouts, stalking is not just something we do before deer season. It's something we come out and do year round, because as the seasons change, so does the terrain, so does the different game animals I'm looking for. Now right now, I'm just exploring. I'm just seeing what's out here. I wouldn't be talking, I wouldn't have this camera. I would be focused on what I'm doing as I ease along. Remember in an earlier video I talked about how the sounds of wildlife will give things away, where you'll sit here and get kind of attuned to it and get really quiet. And the animals like the birds and stuff, the squirrels, will kind of accept you after a while. And when they do, they go back to doing their daily thing. You'll hear that chatter, that little tweep tweep, usual stuff. But then you'll hear a disturbance over that way, or back there, up there, wherever. And you're hearing some other animal move through that they're probably a predator locating, and they're warning each other about. Learn the warning calls. You don't learn anything else. Learn what the warning calls are. And you've got one of the greatest resources there is, the internet. There are bird watchers and everything. They've already put all these various calls out for you to figure out what something sounds like. So you can go get it and listen to it. Now, why come out after deer season? Hogs still in. And the animals do realize something's going on, because they don't hear that many people out here in the woods most of the time. So whenever hunting season gets around and suddenly there's all these pickup trucks and four-wheelers and stuff showing up before dawn every day, they kind of notice that. And their behavior changes. Well, as soon as the deer season's over and hunters ain't in the field anymore, they kind of tentatively come back. So I'm wanting to know where they're at when they're not disturbed. Look at their trails. Look at the places around them. Find out what they're doing. And if I know that I can come up to this place and be quiet and see a lot of deer signs, see a lot of tracks, see whatever, that's a distinct advantage. An advantage that I want to utilize if at all possible. Now, as you can tell, I'm not far from a major air base of the U.S. Army for helicopters. So they're doing flight operations right now. And you're probably very aware of it because you don't live near it. I do. So do these animals. And so that's a background sound to us. Something that we kind of ignore. But there's a lot of sounds that the animals in nature ignore as well. Road noise, tractors, machinery, industrial, running water, things like that. It becomes a background noise to them. And you can utilize that. Because if you come out on a windy day, your scent is spread far wider, but your sound is masked far better. So you can come out and look for nature. Because part of being a woodsman is nature observation. Understanding the animal. Now, what are you interested in finding? Oh, I'm interested in hunting that big buck. Okay. What's the gestation period of the white-tailed deer? What is the rut, mating season? What is the average age of a mature buck? What is the average age of a mature female that starts having fawns? When do the fawns appear? When do the fawns usually disappear? When is it safe to harvest? All I want to know is how to shoot it. You don't know nothing. Learn the animal. Because when you learn the needs of the animal, you will learn a lot of the other stuff. And most of them old woodsmen that were such masters of hunting, it wasn't just the shooting. They could tell you anything you want to know about a deer. My grandfather knew when they were going to have babies. Did they have a lot of babies this year? Why? Well, the acorn crop, da-da-da. He knew that stuff. He paid attention to it. Little details. We would go and we would walk his land when I was a small boy. I loved them woods walks. And he would stop and point out every sign. And yeah, sometimes it was wow and it was fascinating. Sometimes I was just a little boy and didn't really care about possum tracks. I wanted to see a big deer, or I wanted to see a whatever. And that was sort of a failing on my part, because I really did wish right now I could step back in time and spend a couple of days with him. just sneaking through the edge of the woods like this. Fall, winter, my favorite time of year. But it is all too brief here in my south. This is the first time I've got to wear my heavy coat all year. And it's because it got down in the low 20s. Right now it's about 45 or something like that. It'll be down in the low 20s again tonight and gonna rain. The sun's dropping fast now. But I had maybe 45 minutes. And I wanted to come out and just listen to it. I know you people that haven't been out in the woods a lot probably ain't gonna, whoops, probably haven't experienced it, but I tell you, the silence of the winter woods is something real moving to me. The silence of it, the feeling of it. You get quiet. You don't want to disturb it. And so when a disturbance does occur, it kind of stands out like a sore thumb, you know. I remember sitting in a base of a tree one time, about this time of day, late, and watching the stars starting to come out. It had gotten that dark, you were just seeing the first stars. And a big old red-tailed hawk landed right above me, not 6 feet above me. And it fluffed up a little bit. I guess it was looking for something else. And it was there probably 5 minutes preening. And then it launched off and went on somewhere else. I was quiet enough and I didn't move that even if it knew I was there, it knew I wasn't a threat. And it was able to land. I've watched a lot of the old woodsmen that I knew could just walk within yards of deer and they wouldn't react to them. It's like a cow was looking at you. It's because they knew he wasn't hunting. It's like they could feel it. He was just a ghost passing through the woods. Sometimes we'd have people get on the land that weren't supposed to be there and they were hunting. And they'd be sitting there on the deer stand and never hear them come up. And suddenly my granddaddy would step up and go, "What are you doing on my land?" Scare the snot out of them. And that was his point. He wanted you to step out from behind a tree and go, "What are you doing here?" And then when they went to apologize and then da-da-da, when they looked away, he'd step back behind a tree. And they turned around and he was gone. That only unnerved him a little bit. So it was his land and he was not going to play. So, hope this isn't too much rambling for you. I don't have an official stick to put my camera on, so I'm improvising my tripod. But just wanted to bring you out with me a minute and let you see what I'm doing today. Now I'm going to set the tripod down for just a second because I want to answer a quick question before we call it quits. Okay, this is to answer the question from Miss Glenda. Glenda asked about my haversack and she said, could my knife go on my haversack? Well, kinda yeah. Now, I'm wearing this big heavy coat right now. And one of the things that I designed into the Blackbird was the adjustable strap. So I could unhook it and go around something this big and fluffy. I got plenty of adjustment left right there. But by simply taking my Blackbird knife and putting it on the strap, it'll ride just like that beside it. So now I can just grab and pull my knife out, put my knife back without having to have a belt. This is so big and encumbersome, this big heavy insulated jacket, that I'd have to put a belt underneath it. Well, then you doing like this, trying to dig down and get a belt or get a knife, and it's just a pain in the butt. So yes, Miss Glenda, the knife can ride on the side of the haversack just like that. Just by running the strap through it and putting it down, it will ride tight up against the haversack. That's the way I intended it to be. If I wasn't going to wear it on me in a drop sheath, I was going to put it on the haversack. So like you see, my hand lands right on it, and I can still get into my haversack. That's how it works. Okay guys, thanks very much for coming along with me. I hope it wasn't too bouncy and disorienting, but I think my camera's about where it can't see much more. It's getting a little too dark for it. So I'm going to go over here and sling up my hammock and spend the next 45 minutes or an hour in silence and just enjoy the southern woods in the winter. Please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button for me. I will get it out in a minute. And there'll be more videos coming. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.